Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. I heard a woman talk about being pregnant, being provided for, and she made a point that stuck out in my head so deeply. I just keep thinking about it. I want to philosophize with you about it. She basically said that, does your man even love you if he forces you to work while pregnant? Essentially saying, in a nutshell, if he allows you to work while pregnant, he might actually hate you. And on the surface, you may be thinking, what? No, some women are poor and they have to work. And okay, I worked while pregnant and it was miserable. Then with my second child, I didn't have to work and it was blissful. It was wonderful. Because she pointed out this term, right? That if you don't work while pregnant, you're actually allowing your sort of feminine energy to come through. And when you work when pregnant, you're in a very masculine mode and you're more filled with essentially panic and terror. Even if you're calm and you're trying to do your best, it's not the same as you're in your garden, you're on your farm. That's different than when you're going out 9 to 5, going through traffic and whatnot. You're really putting your body under the gaze of the evil eye, putting immense amounts of stress onto you. And if your man loved you, why is he putting you through that when you're so weak when you're pregnant? You're mentally weaker, you're physically weaker, you're more vulnerable. Someone could hurt your belly, right? You're pregnant. And that stress is not good for the baby. So if your man had an actual masculine father energy, he would protect his unborn child more and would protect his wife more from experiencing the crappiness that is working while pregnant. And this stuck into my head to such a degree where I'm literally going to have a talk with this about my daughter. That a man is a good husband if he will provide for you when you're pregnant. And then I realized how there are some feminists who think that to work while pregnant is a good thing. And then I realized further that there are some women who secretly deep down inside, they don't really depend on their men as much as they think they do in terms of love and affection and security. So they have a panic that they have to go back to work really quick because they don't feel safe with their men. And I asked myself, if they don't feel safe with their men, why are they with them? And I think the reason why some of us don't feel safe with those types of men is because we essentially know as women that they are not good providers and they're not suitable, and we have to secure money for our children. And then we've actually admitted to ourselves we have not attracted a good partner, a good mate. I want you to think about it. I know people are going to get mad. But even if you have to be a little bit poor while pregnant, it's healthier for you to not work while pregnant. I watched one of my coworkers work while pregnant because she's really materialistic. And it was brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. And then when she tried to pump milk during her breaks, the other women were not supportive. They complained about having to take over her tables, her section, and whatnot. And she really struggled. And then when I met her man, when she brought him to the Christmas party, this was years ago, before I was Muslim, I kind of looked at him weird, like, this guy, But then I looked at how so many women, they work while pregnant. And if it's a soft office job, you still got stresses, right? And so I compared my pregnancies, working was terrible, absolutely terrible, working in a restaurant. And then having your life regimented while pregnant is not conducive towards growing a healthy baby, having a peace of mind, and just being able to relax, being able to enjoy and endure the pregnancy. It puts more stress on you. And I thought to myself, how many women are afraid to tell their men to get an extra job? that these men are such losers that instead of getting 3 or 4 jobs and just not being home, really, and providing so that their woman and unborn child can be saved, they'd rather their woman work so that they can have time off. It blew my mind. Because if a man really desires a woman, he wants to make her happy, he wants to protect her, he can't live without her, he wouldn't allow her to endanger the life of the child, because miscarriages are very difficult for women to get through. And if he forces her to work and she's working so much that it causes a miscarriage, will he feel guilty? Will he mourn the loss of his child because he allowed and or forced and didn't try to dissuade his woman from working while pregnant? It's just something to think about. It really lifted like a veil from my eyes because I had never looked at it like that before. I always thought, oh yeah, you gotta fight, you gotta work, don't be weak. My husband once said that the women on the farm, they still labor in the fields. And I remember justifying to him in a way like, I don't want to work in 90-degree weather with a 7th-month belly picking corn. I'd rather not do that. He said, all those women there, they work so hard. And I'm like, that's because they had to. Their men were lacking and didn't let them stay out of the sun and go and just have the children. It was fascinating, so I've been just digging into how different cultures, how they treat their pregnant women and whatnot, and how they perceive providing. And I think it's very important for women to have conversations with their daughters and their sons about how we have to shift the culture. We have to say, hey, no, it's actually a blessing to not work while pregnant, even if you have less money. Your man should be the one stressing about going and paying the bills while you worry about growing the baby. Okay? I find that just to be very revealing. And to just break the tie of the job. Where it's like, well, I have to go to the office, I have to file this, I have to turn this in by so and so, I gotta use this email. Like, no, just cut it. It's like, you go on your motherhood journey. Go by the beach, go for a walk in the park, take the dog out, if you have a dog, go to a nice cafe with your girlfriends, where there's mostly women, like, just relax, take naps, tend to your children. This will help you, because if you're on edge, and you're in this go-getting money attitude, it's like just condensing that energy under your baby, and you can almost resent your baby because it's slowing you down. And you're not eating and taking it easy on your body. You're just going and going. And you're more emotional. You're going to cry more. You're going to be angry more. You're going to want to just sit down. You have to go pee every 5 minutes, basically. So, if your man really loved you, he'd want what's safest for you, what's best for you. And working while pregnant is not what's best for you. And then if you rather endanger the life of your child than stay home, it shows that you don't really trust your man. And why did you pick a man you can't trust? Now, I'd argue, if you have to put up with him being boring or his nagging or his attitude temporarily while you have your baby, you got 2 years, I would say it's worth it. Some women will say, I don't want to give up my job because, I'll be totally dependent on him and he's not that high income of an earner and I have to, be careful. I kind of got to walk on eggshells around him. When I have my own money, I feel more free and liberated. I'd say, make him work, save your money, and grow your baby. Just let the time go by, because we have to focus on is growing a healthy baby and making sure that you're able to keep your sanity and do what's best energy wise and spiritual wise for your baby. You can do your prayers, right? Yeah, you can control what you eat. You don't have to ask a manager to go and have a lunch break because you're having some craving because you're pregnant, right? The bathroom's always there. You don't gotta wait in line. You don't gotta tell someone you're going to the bathroom. You'll be right back. None of that. It's superior to be able to stay home, even if you're poor. Make him work. And it's like by women not forcing and making their men go and work, we're enabling them to be more lazy. And men who make their women work while pregnant, they are not really good providers. Very fascinating. I never thought of that before. Let me know what you think.